Okay, Rachel, are you ready to go?
Yes.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I thought you knew.
Now, aren't you supposed to be running the show? Which guest have we got?
Don't make me the boss of stuff.
You're the boss of stuff.
Let's wing it.
And go.
Hi, welcome to the This Is My Voice podcast.
The podcast where we discuss all things voice performance and talk to some of the industry's best and brightest talent.
We're your hosts, Rachel Salas.
And Eddie Bye.
Eddie,
Yeah.
she's back.
Who's back?
You know, like Tamara, the fabulous Tamara Linke.
Oh, yeah, I know her. Is she back? Oh, that's bloody brilliant.
Yeah, we haven't traumatised her or anything, so she's back for round 2.
Yeah, I know, it's great. Oh, well.
Hi, Tamara. How's it going?
Hello. Hi, guys. I like that intro. Was that on the fly? Because that sounded just so improv. It was
Oh,
crazy.
you know what? Rach writes them word for word, and I never read them.
Yeah.
She hates it because she
right.
spends so much time planning out the intro, and I just throw her a curveball every time.
And
She's like,
then
that's not
I
the
look
line.
confused. I'm like, I hope this isn't
Yeah.
sounding in my voice like...
So there you
Thanks
go.
so much, Eddie. Good one, Eddie.
No worries. Great to see you again. Great to hear you again, Tamara. How's things?
Yeah, good. Look, things are rolling along. It's that time of year where Christmas is upon us and doing a lot of Christmas stuff because it all comes out. A lot of clients want a lot of Christmas messages and, you know, it's the Black Friday sales
Friday.
and all that kind of thing. So,
Ooh, that sounded
Yeah.
good.
I did Olympic Industries. I did their Black Friday. So I did their branding stuff. So I was just
actually,
like,
that was what I heard, Eddie. Yes.
Yeah. And then they go, oh, because it's a sale, can you up it a bit? And I'm like, oh, we're losing the brand. I go, it's Olympic Industries Black Friday sale. You know, that sort of guy. But they go, it's Olympic Industries Black Friday sale. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
That's why we pay
Do you
you
love
the big
it?
bucks.
Do you love? That's right. It's quite funny when they want the hard sell. It's always quite a shock when they want you to be quite
Yeah.
old, like 20 years ago, like really,
Yeah.
you know, up there. And you think, really? Are we still doing that? Okay.
Helium Madman kind of thing. Where
No.
it's like Quagmire from Family Guy.
I've got a theory. I refuse now, but without letting anybody know, I refuse. What I do is I just don't yell anymore. That's it. I just don't. And then you know what? Then that work drifts off because I go, he can't do the hard reads, so we won't book him for that. And then you don't have to do
won't
them
book
anymore.
Oh, that's one way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Booking yourself out of work too, Eddie, though.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, sorry, we completely railroaded the start. Right. What was your
Sorry,
opening question
start again.
there?
No, it's
Righto.
okay. No, this is all good. But let's just leave this in.
Yeah, I think we should.
This is fun. Makes it
Absolutely.
very natural. So we haven't scared you off, which is excellent. So one of the best demos that I've heard lately is actually yours. And when I was recording my own, I'm trying to draw inspiration from people because I'm trying to play around with it. You have this really beautiful, smooth, kind of bubbly corporate voice. And I can't do it for the life of me. I can't imitate you. And you just have this just smooth way of going about it. And when I tried to do it, I was just like the fat kid at the end of gym class, so with my breathing. So I'm like, for the love of God, we've got to get this woman back on this show to teach us how to breathe properly.
Yeah, sure. So breathing in relation to voiceovers. Yeah, it's important. Like you just said, it's all part and parcel of a technique. And obviously you get to a point where you do it naturally. And as you said, like I've worked with voiceovers in the booth before too, where we're doing something like message on hold, where there's, you know, it keeps long paragraphs and I read a paragraph, then the voice actor, who's always a male next to me, has to read the next paragraph and you go one by one. And there was one guy I was working with once who he would try and make it a thing where he would take a breath and read the whole paragraph in one breath.
Oh,
And I
cool.
was like, what? Almost like it was his own little challenge. But then towards the end of the paragraph, you'd be going, and that's why, you know, this. And I'm thinking, you can breathe. It's okay. Take a breath. But I think sometimes when you're reading, it can be adrenaline. So when we are a little bit nervous or we're trying to do something, we breathe higher in our chest and you start breathing. And when you breathe quite high and not down low into your stomach or into your lungs, in your diaphragm area, you can tend to take very shallow breaths, which means you're not going to get through that sentence that you're reading. So I think a lot of it is to be able to be steady and committed to the breath. So make sure you take that decent breath from below, from the diaphragm. Everyone talks about, breathing from down there. Take that deep breath, then start reading, but also make sure you're breathing, at the commas. Take a breath and then keep going. Because some people, and especially you've got to read your copy, because sometimes the copywriters don't put in the right breaths. It's like I cannot physically read that sentence without breathing. So you might have to, as the voice actor, you'd know this, Eddie, put in, your own punctuation. They don't always get it right.
Find your spot.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's having that ability to do that, so you can also, and have substance to your voice too, because the more you run out of air and the less you have and you're breathing higher, your voice is going to get higher too, and you don't have that kind of, ability to read because you're all up in your head voice, where you kind of need to be in your body, I think.
Yeah, 100%. As a voiceover, if I'm trying to get through a script, I'll generally sort of half diaphragm breathe, but not really concentrate on it. But then you get a long sentence and you get to the end of it and you go, oh, cripes, I can't do that. So then you have to sort of stop and go, okay, on that sentence, I actually need to dig deep and do a proper big deep breath and hold it in so I can get that one out, because otherwise you can't get it out. Because I teach diaphragm breathing to my students as well, right? And I think that's really important. And what that is it's about breathing control rather than strictly, engaging your diaphragm every time you breathe. It's about controlling your breath properly so that it engages when it really needs to be engaged, like the end of a long sentence or the end of a long line or whatever. But it doesn't always need to be there. And I think what I say is you're better off taking say 2 short breaths in a sentence where the natural pause is like a comma and then keep on going, rather than a big diaphragm breath at the start and pushing all the way through to the end. Because from a production point of view, from a back end point of view, neat and tidy breaths sound more attractive than big diaphragm breaths. You know what I mean? So
True. That's so true.
So it's like it was. I had a funny comment. I did the voiceover workshop a couple of weeks ago, and they go, yeah, because you take really neat breaths, as one of the students said. And I said, yeah, of course, because that's the way. Like, if the breaths are going to be kept in, and a lot of times they're not, if they're going to be kept in, you want to make them just as beautiful and as a part of the performance. You don't want them to be like, because it's pretty ugly. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah, so true. And like you say, I mean, depends on what you're reading for, but they want to hear those breaths in there because a lot of it is conversational. Like they want to hear something conversational, and you don't have a conversation with someone and not hear them breathing. Like you've got to breathe in it. But also in saying that, when you talk, you don't go, hi, how you going, Eddie and Rachel? How are you today? And like we're not doing that. We're not concentrating on our breath. So it's applying that. It's the same thing. Just talk. How would you talk? But I understand that can be hard if you're concentrating on reading and you're trying to do something, with your voice. Then it can get all kind of complicated. So I think it's a muscle memory thing too. Once you work on that breathing and you know how to breathe from your diaphragm, it'll be natural, and you'll just breathe like that normally.
And it's good for you. It's good if you do any exercise. Like I used to swim, and I learned to diaphragm breathe when I was swimming because you have to, right? And then I ride. I reckon diaphragm breathing, you open up more of your lungs. You get more blood oxygen connection because all your lungs are open. And so more oxygen in your blood means you can exercise harder for longer, right? It's actually like athletes do it as well. And it's one of those things, not just singers and voiceover artists, like a lot of professional sports people do it as well. So it's good for real life. It is good for real life. Rach, do you diaphragm breathe?
I'm not good at it, actually. I'm a big ball of nervous energy. I was actually, we had Ali Lopez under your recommendation, actually, Tamara.
She's great.
She's fantastic. And we were listening to my demo as well, and I've got a bit of your input as well. I'm very, nervous and head breathing where I'm like, bah, 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 and I'm like, no, you need to slow it down, woman, though, because you're also, one, you're not in labour, and 2, you're not blowing up a giant balloon. So it's just like, Australian government or Canberra.
Yeah. And that's part of it too, like you say, is being relaxed, being calm. And that comes with practice. The more you do it as well, the less nervous you'll be, and the more jobs you do as well, you go in and the last thing you're thinking about is breathing or reading. If you can do those things, or, on autopilot, all you have to concentrate on is the performance. Oh, how am I going to read this? What does it mean? How am I going to portray that through my voice? So you're not. But if you're starting at the beginning, there's all these new things you have to integrate.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realise this about breathing. Like breathing is, you don't think about it. Like you were saying when you're talking about it before, it's just you're talking and you don't think about you actually inhaling and exhaling, and it's just become second nature. Like Eddie was saying, it's muscle memory. And when you're focusing on it in particular, you're just like, oh, my goodness, we've got to do a breath there. And I'm just sounding like I'm gasping there in this recording. And it's just a patchwork quilt. We've got to, like you were saying, just reviewing the script earlier on and strategically placing these breaths is what's going to get you through. But it's thinking about it, which is weird. But the more practice you get, though, the better it's going to be. So,
and you don't have to be perfect. Like you were here, Rach, when I had a voiceover person just come in only about an hour ago, right?
Yeah.
And the script was pretty long, and he was running out of breath. So I helped him. I said, "All right, we're struggling to get through these lines because they've got big, colourful words." I said, "All right, I want you to breathe here, here." And snatch a little breath there. And he did, and it worked, right? And it's like, well, as an engineer, I can hear that, and I go, well, we're not getting through it, so let's find a space for you to breathe. And I think as a voiceover artist, you go, I'm going to take a breath here. And even as a voiceover artist yourself, when you're talking to your director, you go, oh, man, I'm struggling to get through that sentence. I might take a breath here and then do that there. Is that okay? Because, I mean, sometimes you might ask them, not all the time, but you go, geez, and it's a subtle way from a voiceover person to say to the writer, You've done a bit of a long sentence here, buddy. A human being's struggling to read it. It's got a little bit of a subtle dig to say, is it okay if I breathe here, please?
So true. And it's totally fine to question those things. I think you have to,
Yeah.
Because not everyone always gets it right. The copywriter, especially. It's like, I think I did a reel the other day about trying to get the voiceover in a 15-second space.
I loved that one. That one's so good. We reposted that.
I didn't see that one. I'll have to look.
Yeah, it was for a radio ad, and basically I was reading it, and every time I'd read it, unless I read it really quite fast and it sounds like I'm puffing, like I'm out of breath, I could not really get it really in that 14-second mark, which they needed. And so it's funny because you go back to the audio engineer and they're like, yeah, well, the client, yes, I agree with you. We tried to tell the client, but the client was like, well, we read it aloud and we could do it in 15. It's like, but yeah, how did you read it?
Yeah, cool.
They're reading it like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And then they shortened it because they're like, yeah, it does sound too fast. Otherwise, we need it to sound, you're doing something luxurious and it's meant to be all soft and, floaty, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's right. And then how are you going to create? Yeah. How are you going to create that sound? If you're talking like this and everyone's meant to, understand that it's a place that's really, really low key and cool and sophisticated, but you're reading like you're going to the crazy supermarket or something. So,
and that's, it's funny. So, I mean, as I said, the chap that I had in earlier today, the scripts are running a bit long, but they had so many colour words and I'm like, if it was slower, you could bring the colour to those words, but it's not, so you can't. And he's not a professional. He's done it for years, but he's not a professional. And I said, look, it's the same with the professionals. Like if I go, Tamara, look, I've got 110 word script here, but I want you to embellish every word. It'll run 40 seconds. And I know that if I worked with someone like you would easily get that to 30 seconds, but all the colour would be gone. And do you know what? That's not your fault. It's the writer's fault. And that's what it boils down to, is you kind of go, well, pace, you lose colour. You just lose it. And there's no way around it. Like, if we can find the secret way to still embellish and bring colour but go fast, or the old classic of go faster but sound slower, that one. I love that one. That's always a good one.
Ultimate. I know. Yeah. And just 2%. Can we have a bit of 2% energy? Yeah. And then you just read it pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
Or with a bit of smile or something. And then they're like, smile. That's it.
There we go. Now we've got it. Sorry.
I love this.
I was going to say
Eddie knows two sides of
Yeah, I know
Sorry.
two sides. Yeah, I know both sides. And it's funny. And I know the client side because I'm often sitting there and the clients are sitting on this very couch and I'll swing around and go, what do you think? And I know that they're going, oh, it's not really working, is it? I'm like, yeah, no shit, right? I'm like, cool. So why don't we cut a few words, guys? Why don't we have a little bit of a look and see which sentences we don't need and just see what we can do? Like, we've got one as written. Now let's have a bit of a play, and often we end up with the my cut, which is cut out like a sentence or two, and it works better.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to do a public service announcement because I've got a background in marketing and communication. I've worked in marketing where I've been a copywriter. I want to say to all voiceover artists out there, I am so sorry, and directors, because you don't realise how wordy copies get until you actually have to do them. I'm just thinking, well, cringe.
part of that, public service announcement is you've got to read your script out loud if you're a writer. And you have to read it the way you want it to be read. Like, you can't just go, get in today for good, yeah, it's a good bit of script. No, read it the way you expect. You don't have to sound like the voice artist, but read it the way you expect them to voice it. Then you'll realise it's 33, 34 seconds and go, maybe I should tighten up the script a bit,
Exactly. It's like, you've got to have like the sorry, I keep on cutting you off. Do you want to go?
No. No, go ahead.
With marketing for the clients, you've got to have the who, what, when, where and why, and trying to have all that plus having flair, and where you're trying to make it really nice for the voice actor. It's just really is quite a balancing act, but you've got to think deliverables. So what is this going to connect to the customer best? And sometimes pushing, like, you don't want to critique the director or anything or the marketing team, but you're just like, I really think this is not going to work. But if they see an example, because a lot of people can't visualize things until they actually hear it, and then when they hear it they're like, oh, like Eddie was saying, that's a bit crap, though maybe we should trim the fat here and just take the old word out, and this will be a lot punchier. But how much do you have in the way of budgets? Because if you have it for 30 seconds it's going to cost more than if it's going to be for 15 seconds, so it's going to be cheaper for advertising space in the long run. So what can we do here to collaborate and make this work is the big question with a lot of clients.
Yeah, and it is collaborative, you're right. And when sometimes the clients don't know till they get in the studio. And often, you'll see them sitting there going, oh, where am I? What's happening? And then, it all just happens and they're like, and also it can get, like, especially with remote recordings, when I've worked with people sort of all over the world and they're all on this call recording from, I don't know, Barcelona or wherever they're recording, and it can get quite nitpicky to the point where it's almost... it's too much. Like, you think, wow, you're honing in on the word, laugh. It needs to sound more like this. And then someone else puts their 2 cents worth in and, no, it needs to be like this. And can you say it again? And they're, like you said, a patchwork quilt. They take it all apart and they're putting it together. And then they quite often go with one of the first reads that you did because, so they can almost get in their head. And you think, guys, we're just selling cordial. Like, really? Like, it doesn't need to be this ridiculously pedantic. So sometimes you have to, go through that process so they can arrive right back at where we started.
Yeah. The KISS routine is perfect. Keep it simple, stupid. It's just less in your head.
Sometimes.
But a lot of directors they want to hear everything before they decide on the thing that they want, right? And they love options. And when you're sort of in the ballpark. I mean, sometimes you're wrong, but I find that the most fun part of doing voiceovers is trying to go, oh, okay, so you want me to go that way. All right, now I challenge myself to go that way with it. And then they go, oh, now we want to go this way. And you go, all right, I'll go this way. And it's just like, they're not the places where I would go, right? They're pulling me somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would never go there. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. I want to give them exactly what they're asking for. And I love that.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic. And
no, it's good fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But it is hard sometimes. And, like, you've been doing voiceover such a long time. It is really hard. And you go, and you come out of a tape and you go, oh, did I do it? Did I nail it? Did I do what you asked for? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, kind of, let's try this or let's try that. And it's just that. And then you walk away from a session going, I never would have read that script like that. Like, why do they want it like that? Like, what was in their mind to get it that way or whatever, you know? And
So
you just,
different.
Yeah, and then you get better. Like, we were just literally talking about before with Ali. It was Ali, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. With Ali is, sorry, I'm terrible with names. With Ali was, I can't even remember what I was going to say now. Bugger it.
Talking about what clients want, Lou, with advertising and compared to what you think's right.
Oh, I don't know. No, I've lost it. Anyway.
Walking away from it and feeling like, did I do a good job? Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and that what they heard was something different to what you thought, what did you hear in that I...
And here we go. I'll just sound like a jerk, but it's like, I don't really care as much anymore. I'm like, well, that's the best I could do. I used to walk away from sessions going, oh, just by the way the tone was at the end of the session, I wonder whether they were happy with me or what. And I'm just like, ka-ching, and walk out. Now I'm just like, woo, next job. I'm just like, that's great. And sometimes you still learn, but you don't stress over like whether you nailed it or not, you know.
You don't. And sometimes I'll go, if it's a big session, you've been in there for a couple of hours, I'm like, oh, really? Was that? Or you hear the final product and you go, oh, I think I could have done that better. But I mean, then you go, hang on, they were happy with it, so shut up. Like,
yeah,
it's okay.
And there's a thing like that. Definitely, you go. And a lot of artists I work with, I'll go, particularly if I'm in a bit of a rush or whatever, I go, yeah, that's great. And they'll go, oh, I reckon there's a better one in there. And I'm like, all right, well, let's have a listen or whatever. And I like artists that do that, but I don't like it when they do it at every single take. You know, I reckon it's a better when they start to critique their own work. And sometimes I'll do it too, because it is your brand at the end of the day. Like if you go blah, 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 and you know you've slurred a word or something and they're happy with it, you go, oh, guys, can I have one more? Can I just have one more go just for me? Because I reckon, and then you point out your flaw. You go, I reckon line 2, I just had a little slur in there and it wasn't quite right. Let me have, let me have another one. And because ultimately, if they ran that one where you sounded like a bit of a doofus or you slurred or you missed a T or something weird, right? You go, now that's on air and people hear it, and then, you know, or people are actually exposed to it, and they go, they might think that you can't pronounce your T's or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. In terms of my own quality control.
What was wrong with that guy? I mean, come on. Is that a Black Friday sale or what?
Yeah.
You care, but you don't care. And
that's
why I was going to...
You got to care.
Yeah, like, I mean, because you're proud of the work you do. And I was going to ask you guys about that. It's really good that you brought this up, though, is how do you honestly cope with balancing that in your mind? Because it's like you will never ever be satisfied with the job you've done, and 6 months later you might look at a job that you've done and go, I don't like how that's gone, and then it's like a year later you revisit it and you're like, actually that was kind of fine. Like, are you constantly with the amount of work you do overthinking things?
No, I probably... With me, if I didn't really love the read ever, then I won't listen to it again, or I won't put it in a demo reel. I'll just be like, well, that was that. And I think I focus on the stuff I did do well. So I'll listen. Sometimes I'll go, gee, that was a good one. That was really good.
Yeah.
I really like that. And you feel like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I'm so self-obsessed that I'm listening to my own voice and how well I read that. But sometimes you do, you celebrate the ones you did that you think you did well, and you focus on that. I don't think it's about, I mean, a lot of voiceover it's the next thing. It's the next thing. It's constantly looking forward. With me anyway, I'm not often looking back. It's always about what's the next job? What's the next job? Because you're constantly auditioning. Every day's an audition.
Yeah. Or like I'll look at things like every job. There's always like, you know, if you are putting something into your demo and you think that's a really good spot. But there'll always be something that you could pick on in that ad, right? There's just, funny, I just nailed that or done this or whatever.
The painting's never finished.
It's never finished.
That's it.
But then you honestly treat it like, sorry, we've got 10 minutes. Where's my bloody phone? I'll look at it and go, well, that's a learning process, right? That is or
it is.
You go, how did I, sorry, let me get that up. How can I not do that again? And it's not like I'm beating myself up over it. I'm like, because I think a lot of those things are a technical thing. Like my S's weren't super clear, or that T wasn't as crisp as it could be, or I didn't end the sentence as well as I would have liked. And it's super, super granular technical. And you go, how do I do that? And it's more like you're analysing somebody else's work, but then you're putting it back into your mouth to go, what do I need to do with my mouth to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, sure.
And I honestly don't believe, like, as I said, I don't think about it like, man, I suck or anything like that. It's kind of like, no one's perfect. Like, no artists are perfect. So everyone's got something they could always work on to improve. And I know that in that read, when I listen back to it, I go, geez, I could have done that better, and I'm like, I reckon next time I'll do this. And it becomes a growing process rather than a beating yourself up process.
It's constructive.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, very.
I'm going to move that thing.
Agreed.
Ask a question.
It's a very good point.
So, Tamara, you're a singer for the SA Opera, which is fantastic.
Yes, State Opera of South Australia. Yeah.
Could you give us a few warm-up techniques to warm up your voice or help with your breathing?
Sure. Well, warming your voice up, that's always a good thing. I mean, to be honest, I don't really do it for voiceover, but I shouldn't say that,
You shouldn't, no.
But as a voice, but I don't feel I really need to. Probably maybe I talk too much in the mornings. I don't know. I've had a couple of hours with the kids going, put your socks on, that I've done enough by the time I get into the booth. But with singing, I mean, even something as simple as going, so getting your lips and doing those horse lips. Try and not only get that air, practice keeping that airflow coming out, but also just to obviously warm up, and things like knee, like a knee, different vowel sounds, like a knee. If you go knee, like a siren, knee and go slide. So you slide all the way up and all the way down again. So, why don't you try that now, Rachel?
Go on. That's good, because it's interesting.
You have to go all the way up and then come all the way down. Don't stop.
You disappeared. You disappeared up in the stratosphere.
Yeah, you disappeared. She did. You got to keep going like a big. Yeah,
like,
go.
Let me have a go.
I sound like
you got to make it one long line, like one. Don't stop at the top. You
I sound
keep
like
going.
a boy going through puberty. I'm like,
No, that's your breaking point.
Help!
Let me have a go.
Okay, go, Eddie.
Knee.
Yes, exactly.
That's why you're a professional.
You know what I do? Raspberries are a big one. So raspberries are a really big one. Mm-hmm. I find, like, say for example, it is early and you haven't done a lot of talking. You've got to kind of get your voice warmed up, like break it a bit, right?
That's true.
So I'll be like, ya, wa, ya, wa, ya, because then you're opening your mouth up.
Yes.
And then you go like that. They're my sort of go-tos, because I can do them just before I open my mouth. And I'll actually do them in between takes sometimes. When you've got a director that's waffling on and giving you wads of direction, you actually get cold waiting to do your next take. And so you're listening to them and they're fluffing about with takes or whatever they're doing, and they come back and go, let's go for one more. And you just go, okay, and then I'm good to go again. I've just got the blood flowing again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Another one I teach
little swallows.
Yeah, another one I teach my students is just humming.
Humming is great.
Yeah, just to get that
I
going.
hum, though I found
get
that
your larynx low and keeping you're warming up those vocal cords essentially. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, humming is a really, really good one. Also I do a lot of, especially for different types of reads, I will do, I don't know if I've talked to you about this before, but picking a tongue twister, and I do the Peter Piper pick to peck of pickled peppers, because there's lots of peas in that. And I'll do it in different styles. So I'll be like hard sell, soft sell, slow or energetic, and or more smile.
That's a great idea.
More conversational. And I'll do it in every different type of way. Like I'll just give myself do it like this, now like this, now like this, and see if I can adapt the exact same rhyme, but to those different styles to try and, so that kind of helps too, getting into, if you've got a job on and it's whatever it is, then you can, conversational. Can I read it like this in that style? So it gets you in that frame of mind. Or accents is good for that. Or even animation, different voices.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
We just completely, it's totally different animation, obviously.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier in terms of the energy levels required for a lot of animation is far higher than your regular sort of reads.
Yeah, you can get puffed, especially if you're doing anything, especially gaming stuff. If you are having to do any sort of combat noises, it's like, oh my God, like screams and grunts and
It's a workout.
running. Yeah, it is like a real workout. And I move a lot too. So my challenge is to keep my body still without smacking the mic or stomping the floor, things like that. So yeah, it can be tricky. It is a marathon, I reckon.
Yeah.
We've got about 4 minutes left, so
Yep.
I want to make sure we can wrap it up effectively and make it feel like it ended not abruptly, because I feel like we could go on for hours, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Sure, we can. Yeah.
So you're part of the AAVA advisory board. What do you do for your role, and what did you do to change the legislation that's helped voice artists?
Well, basically, as being a board member, it's about advocating for voice actors. And I suppose it's like steering the board into a direction so we can provide resources and education, and also that sense of community for voice actors, because prior to AAVA being established, there wasn't really a cohesiveness with the voice industry, and I think what it's helped to do is sort of bring that together. So we'll do a lot of suggesting different workshops and seminars, things like that. Oh, and I'm going to organise next year the Adelaide AAVA get together. So if you're both interested,
yes, I'm in.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Get all the Adelaide people all together. But as far as legislation, I mean, recently you would have heard, I think it was in October, the federal government did pass a law preventing big tech, big AI companies from having an exemption to the copyright laws. So, which is great. Yeah, it is really good. So I know AAVA are on the, I think it's the Copyright and AI Reference Group as part of that too. But what's interesting though, it doesn't really apply to voice actors, being that we can't copyright the performance, right? You can copyright the end product, but how do you copyright the actual performance of the voice? It's a tricky, I think that's a bigger beast that needs to be looked at, right, in the future. So I think that's the tricky thing. But it's about lobbying the local governments as well and MPs to look into this as an issue with AI. As we all know, it's, when they're data mining and stealing people's voices and cloning and God knows what else. But yeah, so a lot of AAVA is very focused on preventing that. But also we understand AI is here. It's not going anywhere. But how do we work with it so that we can be, compensated for
your work.
For our voices, for our work. So we should be, just like authors are and musicians.
Yeah, 100%.
Ethical use of AI rather than unethical. So that's fantastic that we've been able to make some change. So there's still a bit to go. Yeah. But it's fantastic.
Watch this space, hey?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'm looking forward to the drinks.
Yes, I'm definitely in. Yeah, just signing up.
Excellent. I'll put you on the list. You're signing up. Are you an AAVA member now, right?
I will be as of Christmas time. So my husband's like, I'm not sure what to get you. I just said, get me a membership. So
I love
Christmas.
that. Yes.
Oh, I love that. It's good marketing, an AAVA membership for Christmas.
Exactly. It's
Tell
good.
Simon that.
He'll be pleased.
I will tell him. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write it down.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show and having another chat with us today. And
anytime.
Don't forget to check out your podcasts, Motherhood, The Beautiful Nightmare.
Yes, please have a listen. It's actually The Beautiful Nightmare now.
Sorry,
no
The
Motherhood.
Beautiful Nightmare.
We've
Rach.
abandoned the motherhood. That's okay.
Yes.
That's all good.
Well,
Thank you for
fantastic.
having me.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Thanks, Tamara. Good to talk to you again.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to This Is My Voice, the podcast about all things voice performance with the world's best voice artists. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a review and don't forget to subscribe. This episode has been brought to you by the Australian Radio School and delivered to your ears by the Ozcast Network.